This is Bluebell ink, and the painting you see in progress here is called Metamorphosis. For those who don't know, metamorphosis means a change in the form, habits, or nature of a thing or person into a completely different one. It's often used to describe frogs as they transform from eggs to tadpoles and then into adult frogs. It's also used to describe the transformations of butterflies and other insects or amphibians that have multiple stages to their life cycle. And it's the word I'm using to describe my own transformation. My life is in the process of change. I have recently made the decision to pursue my passion for art, hopefully by studying a diploma of visual art next year. This means that I'll be somewhat ditching my stable, respectable job in healthcare for the unstable and often discouraged career of art. Hopefully I can work it out so that I can keep my job part-time for some semblance of financial stability. But if not, I'm exceptionally lucky to have a supportive husband who keeps telling me that money isn't everything, and he would rather I do what makes me happy than keep doing what doesn't really fulfill me. It's still been a difficult decision to make, and I feel like I've had to change a lot as a person to make it possible. I've had to let go of a lot of fear and guilt and really decide who I want to be and what I want to do with my life. There is, of course, the whole factor of what if I don't get into the course, or what if I fail, or what if I don't succeed at making art my career, and so on. But I still think I'd rather go for it than give up on my dreams or put them off until half my life was over. Either way, I still have to wait until next year because the courses are already in progress for this year. At least in my area, they're already in progress. So I have time to really sort myself out and get into good habits like drawing daily and posting my art on social media, both for feedback and hopefully to gather a following. So that's what this painting's about. I'll just let you know quickly that the paints I used were mostly Winsor & Newton professional grade watercolours. I used some Schminky as well. It's on Archer's hot press paper, and I used micron pens for the fine lines. The reference image I had for the butterfly came from graphicstock.com. It's a good place to find royalty-free images, but you do have to have a subscription. It's not free. It took me around 3 days to do, which is a long time for one painting, but it's partly because I was trying to film it and my camera doesn't have enough memory to record very long lengths of time, and it's also partly because I have a day job that requires my attendance, so I had to complete it in multiple sessions, which kind of stretched out the time it took. Had to set up every time I was having a new session. I also used a light table to transfer the sketch to the watercolor paper. I'm reasonably happy with how it came out. I did make a lot of mistakes, but a fair few of them were the result of me trying to keep my head out of frame so that you guys could see what I was painting a little better. I'm not really used to filming while I paint. Still working out how to do it comfortably, but hope to get into the habit. Some of the other mistakes were more to do with me just needing practice, general practice with watercolor. Have been using them for about 2 years or so, and I love them. They're one of my favorite mediums, but I'm just not as proficient with them as I'd like to be. When it comes to mistakes or gaps in my skills these days, I'm actually quite positive. I wasn't always like that. I used to get sort of depressed about my skills or my art not being as good as I want them to be, or I'd compare myself to other artists and be a bit upset that I wasn't even half as good as most of them. I'm still not half as good as probably most of them. but I don't really think about it that way anymore. If you're struggling to stay positive about your mistakes, just try thinking of them as evidence that you're learning. If you can see your mistakes, then you have the opportunity to work on and fix them, and seeing progress in the quality of your art is an amazing feeling. So in that way, mistakes are kind of good because they lead to improvement, which leads to satisfaction, which leads to creating more art. So I had this shift in my attitude when I started critiquing my work rather than criticizing it. There's a massive difference. A critique is an analysis of something. It can be both positive and or negative, but either way it involves a logical line of reasoning for your conclusions. For example, I like the gradients of colour on the butterfly wings, but I dislike that the washes on some of the wings are a bit irregular. The imperfections draw my attention away from the overall image. And from that little critique, I know that I need to practice flat washes and only do one wing at a time instead of attempting to do multiple wings at a time, which was trying to cheat and cut down the time that I had to paint. Criticism is more like if I went, the washes aren't even, and left it at that. It's negative and serves no purpose other than to make me feel bad. And yeah, I could decide to practice flat washes as a result of the criticism, but it still gives me a negative feeling that is unnecessary and doesn't really help motivate me. If anything, it takes away what motivation I have for creating and just makes me feel bad about myself. Yeah, I'm sorry if you guys can hear the rain in the background. There's a storm going on, but there's not really much I can do about that. And coming up soon, you'll see the finished painting. Prints of it will be up for sale if you would like to buy them to support my future study. The link will be in the description below. I hope everyone watching this is either already following their dreams or willing to consider their own metamorphosis or transformation. Feel free to like and subscribe if you would like to hear more of my ramblings and follow my progress. So bye for now. I'll see you next time.